Hurrah!
Pound the wall. Oh my god.
Welcome to Pound the Walk podcast. It's week 5, baby.
Episode 5, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. We did get a comment last week. My dog Spencer commented.
Oh, yeah.
He said
Something
Jaden
about
Daniels,
Jaden
Rookie of the
Daniels.
Year. Yeah, so shout out Spencer. Everyone else comment. Dude, comment a question this time.
Or who you think your Rookie of the Year is. Not that there are too many rookie anythings doing super great, so maybe it is Jaden Daniels.
I'm telling you, it definitely is. That rhetoric is being supported right now. He's balling out, man. But
he's having a season. You know, first game I was not a believer, and then he shut me the hell up real quick.
Yeah, good way to put it. They've been on a roll, man. 3-1, first in the division. Shout out the Skins, man. Wah,
wah, wah, wah, wah.
And I hate to bring it up already. I was down 3 games, y'all, and I called it. I have, if I'm not mistaken, there was a 3-point or 3-game swing this week.
It was big. It was a big week for this motherfucker here, man. I was slowly pulling away, and then he just pooped me back out, man.
I pushed.
He said, and now, hey, it's anyone's game.
Beauty is pain. Beauty is pain, y'all. But hell yeah, and that's why now I don't care if there's any disparity. I wouldn't mind if you and me have the same picks all the way till week 17 or 18. So yeah, man.
Well, hey, let's take a look at the results from last week and kind of go from there, yeah.
Yes, sir. Week 4, y'all. We had once again another beautiful Thursday, Sunday, Monday football. Started off right. We'll just go back and forth, I guess, real quick. I guess Dallas, obviously, last episode was right before the Dallas Giants game. I would say it was more so just that typical cliche division matchup, ugly, rugged football, more than what you would expect with like an explosive, potentially explosive Cowboys offense and an ugly Giants offense. It was neck and neck, if I'm not mistaken. It was fairly closer than a lot of people thought. Shout out Wan'Dale Robinson. I'd say that.
Wan'Dale, yeah.
He gets a lot of targets.
Go, buddy. Let's go, buddy. Yeah, like you said, it was close. 2015 game. Obviously went Dallas's way there, but hey, it was not as dog shit as I was expecting. Daniel Jones was actually the passing leader. Boy threw for almost 300, so shout out there. Run game though was abysmal for both teams.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, kind of as expected too. Like I guess the weaker roster spots for both teams is running back. Daniel Jones, man, you're right. He's been playing at the very least sufficient enough to keep his job. And is that going to be a blessing or a curse for the Giants? Probably a curse.
Yeah, definitely a curse because I'm sure they were like, dude, let this guy just bust already, and then he just keeps coming back. So
yeah, but I mean, if they win games, then yeah, so be it. But L for the Giants. Then we had our first difference in our picks. We had New Orleans at Atlanta, right? I had Atlanta. You had New Orleans.
Fucking cousin Koo, man.
Yeah.
He what, like a 56-yarder or 58-yarder to win it in the last couple seconds, right? But it was a great game though. If it weren't for him, I would have gotten that right. But obviously, it swung the way of the Falcons. So shout out cousin Koo, man.
The Korean killer, man. I like Koo. I don't know if y'all recall, Koo was a Charger originally, and I was like super in love. I was about to buy his jersey, and then he lost us like 2 games in a row. The first 2 games of the season got cut. But shout out Koo, man. Crazy turnaround since then in the last 5-6 years.
He's one of the more accurate kickers now in the league. Very consistent. I saw him miss a couple in the preseason. I was like, is he back to his old Chargers way? But no, he's been very consistent. Hell, he's better than Justin Tucker right now. So.
Yeah, hell yeah. We had, Rams at Chicago. It was 24-18. Chicago got their dub. Caleb Williams looked happy as shit out there after the game. I saw him jumping for joy. People were making fun of him. Said he looked like a girl. I thought that was funny. But shout out the Bears getting a dub, man, against the beat-up Rams. See what they do next week. I believe they have – damn, I wish I remember their matchup, but I think I have them winning this week too. But
yeah, we'll look at that in a couple minutes, though, right?
Hell yeah. What do we have next? Minnesota at Green
Bay. Your rhetoric is still true that your boy is comeback player of the year. Shout out Sam Darnold.
It's a beautiful combo of Kevin O'Connell being such a pass-heavy offense with someone like Darnold who's really just slinging it, and then obviously Justin Jefferson is just a freak of nature. He didn't even get too much production, but I don't know if you remember the touchdown he had. It was kind of like a rainbow ball over the shoulder. He was blanketed in coverage, and just
There was no reason for him to catch that, and he came through with it. It was beautiful. Yeah, he didn't. Luckily he did that though, because I was getting no points from him during fantasy, but he shows up every week. And shout out Minnesota defense, man. They've been putting in work.
yeah, man. They might be. I mean, the Steelers and the Chargers. Other than that, they might be like the best points against team, like lowest points against, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they've been forcing turnovers, flying around the ball, and then offensively, obviously explosive. There's no question that they're they're a powerhouse team in the NFL already. We're now like almost a whole quarter of the way through the season, unfortunately, I guess. And they're undefeated, dude. They're undefeated. Shout out the Vikes, Skull and your
Skull,
buddy.
go Vikings! I am on board until I'm not. Next one, we both got wrong, but I'm so glad we did.
Yeah, I
Pittsburgh
mean,
at Indianapolis.
Colt up, baby, your boys. I guess
Colt
if you
up.
want to elaborate.
It was close though. I mean, Daddy Joe,
Oh
Daddy
yeah.
Joe breaking the hearts of Pittsburgh fans one more time, and I'm here for it. But Anthony Richardson, man, I think he's made a glass, which is unfortunate because he was actually starting to look pretty good. 75% accuracy, had about 75 yards. They're throwing the ball, making plays. The RPO was working, and then he goes down with a hip injury. And then they bring him back in for another RPO play where he ran the ball after
Immediately.
grimacing in pain.
Dude, he was literally, yeah, he was in agony. He was rolling around in agony. I thought it was like, oh, he's done. And then I look up, literally probably less than a minute later, they run like a QB power, and it's him. Once again, in agony and pain. This is if it's ever more than ever, is like, this is such a pivotal moment for Anthony Richardson. They at the point too, I'm seeing like press conferences after practices where they keep asking him about what do you think about people calling you injury prone, etc. He's still so young as far as experience and starting. He's such a big freak athlete. You obviously in this specific situation, you gotta point it towards the coaching and play calling and even just putting him back in so soon, more than anything. But yeah, I don't know. I love the dude. You can't give up on him yet. He just needs to stay healthy, dude. And hey, y'all got the dub with Joe Flacco, baby.
Daddy Joe, ageless Joe, man. It got close in the second half. I think first half the Steelers were really counting for that RPO,
Yeah.
and the run game obviously diminished a little bit when you have 40-year-old quarterback in there. So the Steelers were running out of plays first half, and then they came out and they figured something out. They got close, but like you said, dubs are dubs, so I'll take it.
Hell yeah, man. Shout out the Colts getting that dub. Do you think Joe Flacco might be the best backup quarterback in the league? Shit, like I can't really.
I mean, look what he did for Cleveland last
Yeah, he
year,
proved to
and
be it
then
last week, I
he's,
guess.
the just having him in the quarterback room, his leadership, his experience, the defenses he played when he was a Super Bowl champion, it's sure he's moving a little bit slower, but like, the dude's got experience, man. So
It's surreal. It's like it's more surreal than even like Tom Brady playing when he did it like 41, 42. Like to see Joe Flacco out there. Like there was like a 3-year gap where that man just you forgot about the dude. So I don't know. I love to see it. Obviously,
dude was
all
on the
football
couch, and then he came back and led the Browns to a great season. So shout out Joe. I might buy a jersey just to have,
Hell yeah.
because it's fucking Joe Flacco, man. This is funny.
Flacco.
It's a novelty item to have. But let's move on to the next game. This one kind of another game where I got shut up a little bit here.
Same. I mean, I guess you could call it an ugly matchup. I definitely expected it to be a defensive matchup. What was it? Yeah, it was 10-9. So I mean, shit. I feel like that was probably one of the most correct scores of any matchup. I mean, 10-9. Both very good defenses. Denver's got some great DBs. It was also an ugly weather game. If I
Horrible
recall
weather.
correctly.
Yeah, it was whatever was pushing up from Helene. So it was disgusting game. So you couldn't really throw the ball too well. And plus, Denver's defense, obviously, top tier corners.
Yeah.
So it was going to be a difficult one.
I love seeing Aaron Rodgers is so like transparent and with like his press conferences, and he's like, you see it on the field too. There's been clips where he's like yelling at Coach Saleh, like Robert Saleh, the head coach, and like Robert Saleh's like, we're gonna have to dial down on the cadence because there was like 5 or 6 false starts, and then they ask Aaron Rodgers right afterwards. He's like, no, we're not dialing down. And then Saleh comes the next day at practice, first practice, like, yeah, I meant to clear this up. We're not dialing it down. Like, I just thought that shit was so funny.
It's kind of like when Peyton Manning was in Indy, where he's like, "No, fuck you. This is my offense."
Yeah, player
So,
coach, right? He's if
so
I'm Aaron Rodgers might be older than Salah, if not they're like similar in age, dude.
they graduated at the same time.
Next game, Philly at Tampa. Both got it right. Tampa's been lighting it up. Philly's been chugging along, trying to survive, but they haven't been anything. Dude, they had 0 yards in like the first quarter and a
Did you
half of
see
the
that
game.
stat when they popped
Yeah.
that up? Zero
hmm
total yards at the end
Dude,
of like the first. It was
I had a buddy watch. I was watching football last Sunday with my buddy who's a diehard Eagles fan, and dude, it's like I hate to like they had the tush push mastered. They've had it for 3+ years now, mastered. And the first down and distance where they got to the goal line, it was like 2nd and goal at the 2, and they ran like a power to the running back twice. Saquon got hit like the 1 or the 2, and they just didn't run the fucking tush push. And then they finally adjusted. The next time they got to like the 4-yard line, tush push twice in a row in the end zone type thing. You just got to do it, dude. Theoretically, they could run the tush push every play and be better than they are now. It just kind of it bothers me as far as coaching goes.
yeah. I mean, that's I didn't know where you were going with running the tush push every play. I thought you were going to run the tush push every play and be successful. I was like, buddy, that's a long 10 yards at push. But I guess 0 yards in an entire quarter. I guess yeah, in theory. But shout out Baker, man. He was looking rough the game before, but he came back. And they're right back to where they left off before that ugly match against Denver.
Yeah,
And
Baker's turning into one of my favorite players this year to watch. Honestly, he's getting
he's
the ball
electric,
out
man.
quick and, yeah.
He's fun. He's fun. I don't know if you watched him a whole lot last year, but this is very similar to how he was playing last year. So I was
Yeah.
very excited to see him continue.
Yeah, getting the
But then
ball
we have
out.
Cincy at Carolina. Shocker.
Yeah, man.
Since he took
This
it.
had one of the best plays of the week, probably the best play of the week. Jamar Chase had like a 60-something yard touchdown. I think it was kind of like a post or a skinny post, and he caught on the right side of the field, broke 3 or 4 terrible tackles, but man, just cooked
Yeah,
down
he
the
cut
sideline.
up the sideline and then just yeah. I mean, I thought he was going to get stopped multiple times, but yeah, like you said, I don't even know if he broke tackle. He just ran by motherfuckers
Dude,
who
it
weren't
was
looking.
like no, it was terrible tackling attempts. Like that's what it was. I mean, Carolina's been rough, but you don't want to see any NFL caliber player trying to make those type of like terrible attempts to tackle, arm tackling, etc. It just
It was
looked like little
bad.
league football. But yeah, man, shocker, like you said, since he pulls through.
Yeah, Jacksonville at Houston. Jacksonville for half a second showed like they gave a shit, and then they went back to their Jacksonville ways.
Yeah, Travis Etienne, I think he missed like a chunk of the middle of the game. I mean, that definitely hurt them. Tank Bigsby is a solid backup running back, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Houston needed to win. Houston needed to win that game. I think last week they had a pretty stinker of a game, if I'm not mistaken, if not the week before. So
I think it
it's
was
good to
last
see
week they
Houston
shit the
lighten
bed.
it up.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's what you expect from Houston, right? They paid all these guys a ton of money. They've got a ton of talent in the wide receiver room.
Absolutely,
Nico Collins, you throw that
Insane.
ball up, he's getting the ball. So
he's insane.
great game. Good job, Houston.
Yeah, this is that year. I think every year there's a few receivers, at least one that like really stands out. And obviously, Nico Collins is that guy who's like putting himself up on that tier with the top receivers. Like he probably already is, I guess, at this point. He's leading the league in receiving yards, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd say Nico is a top tier receiver at this point. It's not a fluke. The kid came in and he showed a lot of talent, and he's just continuing to develop. So, good job, Nico. Actually, I have one of his jerseys up there, so should have put him up.
Interesting. Yeah, well, we have Washington at Arizona, both wrong here. But shout out the Skins and shout out Jaden Daniels. Once again,
I
man.
was blown away. Hey, Jaden Daniels is dialing in, man. He's proven me wrong. I thought he was going to start running only, and then he figured out how to throw the damn rock. And guess what? He learned how to slide. Did you see him slide? He slid.
He needs
popped
it,
back.
dude.
Oh man.
That's what I've been saying to my fellow Skins friends. Like, my biggest concern, and I'm still concerned about it, is his. And you said it too. I remember how fragile he at least looks out there. Looks tiny. In week 1, he took a big hit and got hurt and pulled out a play or two and came back in. Since then, it's probably mostly decision making and play calling. But man, he looks so confident out there. I mean, miles ahead of any other rookie quarterback that's gotten the opportunity to play this season, which is what Caleb Williams. that's about it, right? Drake May and Penix. I'm still a big Penix fan, but yeah, man,
Yeah,
Jaden Daniels
Bo
rookie of the
Nix.
year.
I mean, Bo Nix is looking
Oh,
better.
Knicks. I knew I was forgetting
So,
someone.
but I did catch his press conferences. He's a funny guy to listen to.
Bo Nix, right? Yeah, I
Bo
was saying
Nix,
that.
man, he's just, what happened? I threw the wrong guy the ball.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like the way he sounds on the mic, man. I mean, he's the last 2 weeks he's looked okay. I mean, obviously they got the dub this week, so
So,
shout
but
out
yeah,
Bo Nix.
shout out Washington, man. Y'all pulled that one over, and they proved us both wrong. But there's another disparity.
Yes.
I
Yes.
really thought San Francisco. I saw a graphic 2 days before the game, and there were a lot of key players on the inactive, not playing. And then I turned the fucking game on, and every last one of those guys are on the field, and I was like, well, this is where Josh is going to start catching up.
Hell yeah. And I mean Jordan Mason, I don't he's very I mean obviously it's a great offense around him that's found success obviously in the last like multiple of years, but very underspoken of still. Shout out Mason, man. Jordan Mason. He's out here. He had like 130 it says here. So yeah, man. Shout out Jordan Mason.
But shout out your boy. You said, like, watch out for Juwan Jennings, and he was the leading receiver for the game, so
I'm telling you,
good
he's
job, Jennings.
producing more than Ayuk is, man. So shout out him. But honestly, I said this too. Christian Gonzalez on New England, he's like a top 3 tight end at this point. I mean, cornerback, excuse me. He's like a top 3 cornerback already at this point, and he locked up Ayuk. He's been locking up everyone he's been against this season. So
He's been solid. I think he was I first saw him obviously week 1 where he's a huge contributor against the Jets there. So
hell yeah, man. And now we got Cleveland at the Raiders. You and me both
the
had the Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah, man. I guess it was kind of a prove it game for them because they've been having a lot of off the field issues still today to this point. It's pretty ugly. To talk about what we were talking about originally before the season started, one of my bold takes was Gerard Mayo, head coach of the Patriots, was going to like have a terrible fallout and probably get fired his first year. I think AP, like obviously they seem they're siding on his end, but man, that man AP. How about this? Devontae Adams was a big reason why AP got rehired from being an interim to head coach into the offseason. If they told the organization that, hey, by week 4, Devontae Adams isn't going to be practicing, most likely not being played, and the head coach isn't even going to say his name out of disrespect in a sense, I don't think they would have hired AP to be the fucking coach. Like, I don't know. It's ugly.
Yeah, it's not a great situation, but Vegas and I guess the Raiders and that controversy has been kind of a thing for the last 70 years or however the fuck long they've been in.
Hell yeah, man! But a dub's a dub, so I mean, they're treading water still. So I guess shout out the Raiders, but
They're
once again,
trying.
fuck the Raiders.
All right, bud. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I guess
We both knew it was going to happen.
yeah, both got it
But
right. Obviously, the Chargers are super banged up. Starting left tackle, one of the best left tackles in the league, Slater, out. Starting right tackle, rookie, one of the best right tackles already, and all out. A lot of banged up players. One of our starting middle linebackers, Derwin James, suspended. We were banged up, man. Herbert, terrible ankle injury, but he played through it and luckily didn't get banged up again, so that was good. Number one thing in a positive sense I'll say is Jesse Minter once again showed us that he can scheme up and change up looks week by week depending on the matchup, and actually it works out, something that we definitely aren't familiar with. Fuck Brandon Staley. But yeah, man, still lost the fucking game. Got to pull through. I think it was like 10-0 early, forced 2 quick turnovers, and our offense just could not produce, dude. Justin Herbert had like 2 or 3 passes, like one of those highlight reel, like look how great Herbert is. One to McConkey that got caught in the back of the end zone. That was awesome. Shout out McConkey. He produced a lot. But there was one to J.K. Dobbins, man. If he caught that, it was in like crunch time. It was like 10-10 at the time, I think. And if he caught that up the sideline, he probably would have been gone for another 20-30. It would have been like a 50-yard catch. I don't know, man. We lost, so that's all that matters is wins and losses, and we'll be seeing Kansas City again this year, and I'm excited to see it when we're more healthier, hopefully.
The one positive takeaway is, Kansas City is an undefeated team, and you guys were within 1 score. It could have happened if you just had one more successful drive, instead of stalling out. But it just means that you can still hang in there with the big dogs. So shout out Chargers for hanging in there.
Yeah, man, I'll take it. Holding the Chiefs to 17, I'll take it.
All right, this one was a little bit of a shocker to me. Buffalo at Baltimore, and Buffalo just did not produce at
Yeah.
all.
I mean, we were both just like blinded on the fact that they had one of the best performances the Monday before. Josh Allen was just having recess football type vibes out there running around. But yeah, Baltimore came and they were smacking Josh Allen left and right, and more importantly, literally from the beginning of the game till the end, this man Derrick Henry, and then in support with someone like Lamar Jackson, it's coming into the season, they were absolutely right. I mean, look at that's 2 weeks in a row now. Like, dude, that's deadly. Like, not I don't think many teams are going to be able to withstand that for all 60 minutes, man. It's fucking scary. That's
That
why you got
is
to keep
tough.
giving Henry the ball.
That is tough. I mean, the dude is at his age and his size. It's still he's moving so fast and playing such hard football. So I mean, that's what you have Derrick Henry for, you know. So shout out Baltimore for finally utilizing that weapon. And then I know they got their other running back, Justice Hill, right?
Yes,
They
dude.
got him involved in the passing game real
Yeah, it's
heavy.
almost like he kind of took over Mark Andrews' his production in the sense. Like, they get him in the flat. He's gone for 10, 15 yards after the run. They do it like 2 or 3 times a game. Yeah, I don't know if I hit on the bet, but one of on the parlay I had like a Justice Hill receiving rushing combo yards over. Each week, dude, lock that in because it's at like 35. It's like, dude, he gets those in just receiving alone,
I
and then
mean, he
he's
gets
gonna get a
15
couple of
yard
carries.
checkdowns every time when they start pressing the safeties deep and whatnot. So
You got to keep getting him the rock in those circumstances because yeah, they're producing. So shout out Baltimore. I mean, obviously I hate supporting them because just being around so many fucking Ravens fans, but they looked deadly against
they did.
one of
They
our. I
did.
think we both had ranked as like at least top 3 in our power rankings last week in Buffalo. So
Absolutely. All right, but
oh, man.
here we go. Here's your little audible that saved your ass.
I called it Omaha,
And I don't know if it
and
was the audible that saved your ass or if they pulling out Will Levis was the
well,
key to
whether
the
it was
success.
injury or not, that was part of it, dude. I knew Will Levis was gonna get benched. No, but dude, all right. For one, we gotta touch base on the meme thing. Did you see him crying on the sideline?
I didn't see him actually crying, but I mean he looked flustered.
Dude, there was one screenshot of him where he's on the sideline. He makes the same face as like in The Godfather when like he sees his dead son, and they put in the camera like, "Why did he massacre my boy?" Like, yo, dude, I'll send it to you. It's probably the funniest one, and it might be the last one we ever see now because fucking Mason Rudolph. They kept calling him like, "Oh, playoff quarterback" because he played last year in the playoffs, but Mason Rudolph did it. He got the ball out. It was kind of like that Joe Flacco vibe. Getting the ball out quicker than Will Levis, at the very least, is the best thing I can say. And obviously, it won them the game. I'm happy I switched up on him, man. Tyler Huntley didn't look terrible. I
He
mean,
didn't
but
look
Miami's
horrendous,
offense
but
was terrible.
that offense just is not designed for any other quarterback at this point. I think Tua was a centerpiece. Look, the receivers also, I think, I don't know, were they not trying as hard? I couldn't tell. It's a couple plays, it looked like Hill was, sandbagging it for some reason. They couldn't get the running
run the
game.
ball.
They couldn't get the running game going at all. So,
Yeah, it was a rough one. And like you said, like, I mean, I'm not the biggest Tua supporter, but obviously that offense is, I guess the word complicated fits. You got to have a lot of faith in that offense. They obviously throw a lot of like run after catch where it's like a intermediate. It's not necessarily short routes. It's like a rounded post, and Tua is supposed to just get that out there. Like, man, you can get another quarterback to learn that system. It's just you need to get him to learn it. And
yeah, that's the issue. Is they get these guys a couple of weeks in, and you need an entire off season to learn that offense. Like you said, it's not super long routes and not super short routes, but it's routes where they're going around separating the defense, cutting through people, getting people confused between the routes, and then that creates that huge opening for Waddle and Tyreek to kind of just break out. And then the offensive line just was not holding their own either. So Huntley just didn't have enough time. He definitely looked a little pressured and maybe a little confused back there.
yeah, Miami, man, Miami. It's apparently I guess the narrative now with Tua is that he's going to come back this season. I mean, he's done a great job not talking to the media. I have not seen his face anywhere, but apparently he's at the practice facilities with the team every day. So and he's
Yeah, I
been
mean, they
killing
all say
people.
he seems normal too, but I mean, are you gonna lie about that? Like, no, he's fucking talking in like German or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Wearing them head forming helmets babies wear
what
and
I'm
shit.
saying, like, they're gonna say, yeah, he has to wear his helmet on and off the field at all times,
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
fucked.
He's fluent in Russian. He's never been to Russia in his life. Like, they're not gonna tell us that. They're gonna be like, don't fucking talk to anyone with a camera.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, but if he does come back, Miami needs to win these games, man. They've said that a lot coming into the game. Like, this is one of the most pivotal games early in the season for a team, which is like in Miami, because
Well, if they keep losing games, then he shouldn't come back.
yeah, yeah,
Honestly,
exactly.
there's no reason to come back if they're definitely not going to make the playoffs or they're looking rough. Or
Yeah,
do
I mean,
not come back this season.
I'm not a millionaire, but I've played football for a good amount of time, and just as like an athlete, dude, I'd want to come back, right? Like no matter what, I'd want to come back. So
No,
we'll see.
I get it, dude. I mean, hell, even in that stupid flag football tournament, I tore my calf, and I decided not to leave the game for 6 games.
By
So
the way, that's like less than 2 months away. I'm hoping
yeah,
they gotta reach out.
I
I'm
don't
looking forward to
know.
that.
I told them let them know that I've rehabbed my leg pretty good, and I'm
Yeah,
good to
I'm
go.
sure they're gonna bring. They gotta have it again. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, man, Miami took the L, and then we had another doubleheader Monday night, which I think is
Yeah.
over finally, right?
I think so. I think it's because of the extended season and having to have that Thursday night game every week that kind
Yeah.
of screwed up things. So they
Yeah.
did the two double headers, and I think we should be good.
Well,
If
yeah,
I'm
and
not
we got bye
mistaken.
weeks now. Like for instance, the Chargers are one
Right.
of them,
I
so
think
it would be dumb to.
Philly might be one too. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, we
Yeah.
had Seattle at Detroit. We both got right. And look, Seattle's a solid team, but I think Detroit's just a better team, and they showed up and proved that, and kind of blew them out of the water. I think
David Montgomery, man,
it was like
cooking.
42 to 20 something, right?
Yeah, and then Jared Goff. Was this the game, or was that last week where Jared Goff threw like fucking 100% completion? He was like 18 for
It
18.
was. It was the first time. Is it in history after? Yeah, over like 10 attempts or something that
Yeah.
they got him. They got them all. So he's
Phil
like
almost
18
had
for
that.
18.
Philip Rivers almost had that. Dude, I'm like a savant. I think it was against the Bills in like 2017. He was like 24 for 24, and then he threw an incompletion at the end of the game, and he was about to set a record. But yeah, shout out Jared Goff. Ugh. But yeah, I love watching Seattle, man. Geno threw for like 400 yards. I love Jackson Smith and the Jigba. The motherfucker be flying. I saw something where since they got rid of their last OC, they showed like route trees per game, and like before that, Jackson Smith would literally run like hitch, slant, drag, and he'd barely be on the field. Now he's all over the field, and because of that, he's getting a lot of targets. I don't know. He's just one of those guys like I brought up Baker earlier. I love watching JSN this year. Nothing like special, but it's just fun to watch that guy. DK obviously.
DK, man, he's fun to watch. I mean, just watching the Derrick Henry of wide receivers running out
Yeah,
there.
basically. And he's smart, man. His IQ is up there. I saw a play where I don't know if it was this week or last week, but they had a rushing touchdown, and he ran like a fake fade. And if it wasn't for running that route hard, that DB, he literally ran the DB off the field, and the running back just follows DK up the sideline to the end zone. Like smart plays by him, man. I like watching DK. I love watching JSN. I like their offense, man. And Tyler Lockett's an OG, so they're fun to watch.
Oh, they're fun to watch. And Kenneth Walker came back this week. He proved that he's still got he's got what it takes. But overall, they just didn't have enough to match that Detroit offense. So shout out
3-1.
Detroit.
I think they're both 3-1, right? Is Detroit 3-1?
They should be because they dropped
Yeah.
the one game to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, in Seattle. Seattle's 3-1. So yeah, that's our picks, and because of that, once again, we are tied up, man. We are tied up in our all-time
Right
record going into week
back
5.
at it.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, this is the part where we play a little ping pong with our power rankings here.
Yeah.
Not to make an Asian joke because ping pong. You
Play
want
a
to kick it
little
off this week?
ching-chong with
Ching
our
chong
power
ping pong.
So do you want to do that then? You want to go 3-3? Like pick our third?
Okay, we can start with our third ranked team. Sure.
All right, you go for who do you have at number 3?
I still have Buffalo at number 3. I think I thought they would dominate the last game, but they didn't. And I think they're still one of the best teams in the league. I think they're still within the top 3 of the best scorers.
Yeah.
When everything's clicking, they are absolutely dominant. Like you said, high school or recess football. They do worry me a little bit when they stall, but I still believe that they can absolutely beat my top 2 teams.
Okay. Yeah, my number 3 is not clickbaity. I truly think right now they're the third best team in the league, and it's relevant to what you just said. But they're 2-2, and I hate to say it, but I think the Baltimore Ravens should be ranked third in the NFL in power rankings for us. Because, dude, they've played competitive games all 4 games. They just beat on the Bills, which I probably have it like my fourth. And once again, like last week I referenced, like, do I think they'd beat these teams? Like, I mean, they just beat the Bills. I think they'd beat the Bills again if they had to. Their defensive, their 2D tackles have been cooking, and like Matabike and Travis Jones, Kyle Van Noy, what the fuck? He's been cooking, and I like their DBs. They're young DBs, and I mean Marlon Humphrey's cool. But more importantly, like we were just talking about earlier, their run game, there's no other team like it. And Lamar Jackson is secretly playing the best, like other than like Jaden Daniels, I guess Josh Allen. But, dude, Lamar Jackson, man, and Baker Mayfield's been playing good. But, yeah, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry combo, and their receivers, like, they do what they need to do. And Zay Flowers is obviously the one who gets the most production, and he is, I mean, I wouldn't call him a wide receiver one on a lot of teams, but he clearly is on theirs, and he's good enough for them. I got them at number 3.
All right, look, I'll take it. They did beat the Bills, who I had at number 1 for a couple of weeks in a row. So I guess good job, Ravens. But number 2, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, they're still winning games. They're 4-0. They're starting to show a little bit more life now.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey is actually relevant again, so Taylor might stick with him for another week. And their running game is improving. I think they got Kareem Hunt in there, right?
Yeah, Carson Steele stunk it up a little bit beginning of the game, fumbled early, and obvious that you saw Kareem Hunt just coming out there more, and he was running hard as shit. Kareem Hunt is definitely going to be getting some PT next week.
So, yeah, their running game's picking up. Kelsey's kind of doing this thing again. I think Rice did go out with a pretty gnarly knee injury. But, it's the Chiefs, man. They find ways to win, and they're still
Apparently
doing it.
the injury isn't as bad as people thought. He should be back at least by the playoffs, which I'm sure they're going to find their way in there. But, yeah, I also have the Chiefs at number 2 for me. They beat us, which whether you guys like it or not, we have a great defense, and they still pulled through to score more points than us. They are winning games, whether y'all like it or not. The Chiefs are my number 2 man, and they're still my Super Bowl pick. I still have them going to the Super Bowl and winning it. So
Gross.
yeah.
Number 1, give me Carolina. No, I'm kidding. Give me Minnesota Vikings, man.
Yeah.
They're winning games. They're winning them by wide margins too.
Yeah.
The Chiefs they're winning, but they're barely winning. Right, 1-score games in almost every game, if not every game. I'm not sure. But the Vikings are winning by multiple scores, and their defense is playing top tier. And then you pair that with an explosive passing game. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Everything about that offense is just harmonized right now.
Yeah.
And go Skull.
Yeah, man. Vikings are my clear number 1 as well. The only, I guess, if I had to be critical at all, I mean, you'd like to see a little bit more out of Aaron Jones, but obviously they don't necessarily need too much because they're still lighting it up. And I guess, I don't know if you'd agree with me. I mean, it's your number 1 and my number 1. I would say the Vikings would beat the Chiefs right now. So
I would say they beat the Chiefs. I think if the Bills had a great game, that's what I was saying earlier. I think Bills could beat Chiefs and Vikings, which I'm sure you could tell if they came up to play. Especially if the game was in Buffalo. I believe the Bills could easily beat both teams. But the fact that they are showing a lot of inconsistency and they're either boom or bust between each week, that's kind of why they're at 3. But I think we have a pretty solid top 3, and then we can kind of see why each other would put them there.
yeah, right. So like honorable mention for me would be like the Bills. Obviously, you can't sleep on the Texans. They're still pulling 3-1. Steelers, right? I mean, y'all didn't put too many points on them, so their defense obviously has been super consistent too. Fields just needs to play like he did the week before and not like last week, and that's about it. But yeah, those are power rankings for y'all.
Yeah, that's Steelers defense played poor enough where they only got me 1 point in fantasy football, but
Yeah,
I guess it's better than negative.
Yeah,
All right. Well, let's talk about this week, starting tonight, right? Today's the third.
Hell yeah, we got a Buccaneers Falcons matchup. Uh, Kind of exciting, more exciting than people probably would have thought going into the season. I mean, yeah, I'm just excited to watch Baker. I'm excited to see Bijan out there. Obviously, guys, after we get our picks in, we'll have our first parlay that's gonna hit this year. So wait
I
for
feel good
that.
about the parlay this week, but let's
I'm
get through this segment quickly and we'll get there.
Yeah, I'm right, you're left, and I guess we'll go same thing. We'll go game. You know what I mean? Like
Yep, yeah.
back and
Let's
forth.
go through this. Look, we
We'll change it.
both got Tampa Bay tonight. We both love Baker. Atlanta did come through, very last second there, and that was 50-50 chance, right? If Koo misses that game, they lost it.
Yeah.
So they need to start putting games further away for me to start really being on board. But shout
Mhm.
out Atlanta either way. But I got Tampa tonight.
Yeah, Tampa's exciting, man. We both got Tampa. Tampa's just an exciting offense, great defensive mind, coach, and a good defense as well. So Tampa, I got them pulling through. They looked hot on Sunday, definitely hotter than Atlanta. So we're only a few days later. So I got Tampa.
All right, we got an early morning game
Oh
with the
shit!
Jets at Minnesota.
Is this in
Is this
London?
overseas? It's got
Yeah, I was about to
to
say this must be London or some
be
shit, right?
overseas. Yeah, so it's probably in London because the Germany game was the pity game or the revenge for World War II.
Yeah, the
But
next
we got
game.
Jets.
My bad. I was gonna say the next game is gonna be actually in Hasbullah Airport. Oh, that's
Fuck out of here.
all right.
We both got Minnesota, right? They're our number one. The Jets are playing inconsistent football. They need to get their shit together. So give me Minnesota until they prove me otherwise.
Yeah, I want to see more out of Aaron. The week before he was slanging the rock. They had a really bad weather game, so who knows? But we have Minnesota number one for a reason. So all that can go out the window, dude. Skull, baby, till I see otherwise.
Skull, skull, skull. All right, Carolina at Chicago. I don't give a shit how bad Chicago's playing. They're better than Carolina. But look, they came off a dub. Caleb Williams, he's starting to get in his kind of groove, right?
Yeah.
I think being on one of the worst teams, first round pick, that expectation to perform, it's a lot on a rookie quarterback. So you got to give him a couple games settle in. I think he's starting to settle in,
hmm
so making better decisions. And Carolina's still playing terrible football.
Yeah. I mean, this was probably this was my most up in the air game, and that I mean it's mostly due to both teams being a little bit underperforming. DeAndre Swift broke one last week, like finally, and I mean if he gets that more going, then just those one or two little chunk plays in the run game can help them, especially against a team like Carolina. I could see that happening. I'm not gonna put my money on Carolina, so yeah, I got Chicago getting that. Caleb Williams going on a 2-game winning streak.
All right, all right. Now we got Baltimore at Cincinnati.
hmm
Um, this one pretty easy for me after watching what happened on Monday.
Yeah.
Baltimore, the running game, like you said, is just picking up. Cincinnati, they did get the dub. It was an ugly dub, though. I think they're still having an identity crisis with Slim Shady under center right now. So give me Baltimore.
Yeah, I was thinking about that this week. Like, watch, Joe Burrow's gonna dye his hair back, and ESPN's gonna make a whole segment about it. It's gonna make me throw up. But yeah, Baltimore. It's the opposite of what the last game. This is more so just both teams. I think Cincinnati is obviously performed better than their record shows. They can air it out. Their tight ends produce a lot, which might help with against Baltimore. But yeah, Baltimore is just looking nasty. Started 0-2, and I don't think they want to look back at all. So I got Baltimore winning at the first or second away game I have. Yeah, Baltimore beating Cincy.
Comment about their tight ends producing. Gasecki got me negative points this week, like negative 2 points. So
I was more focused on the week before. I think they had like 200 something receiving yards with their tight ends.
unfucking real.
Yeah. So
All
and
right,
Eric All, I think is his name. He's been getting potentially more targets than Gesicki now.
yep.
So yeah.
Oh well, I'm gonna drop his ass this week anyway. We got Miami at New England. Miami's just playing really bad ball right now, and until they can figure out how to get that offense moving, how to get the
Yeah.
run game moving,
Yep.
And New England, they did lose, but they still have a decent defense.
Yep.
San Fran obviously has a powerhouse offense, so if everyone's healthy, they're going to win. But a banged up Miami team or confused team, I think New England has a better chance.
Yeah, wholeheartedly believe in the same thing. New England's defense against a lackluster Miami quarterback. Obviously, Miami's the most explosive in weapons, or at least one of them, but probably the. So, I mean, yeah, a couple plays underneath routes, see what Miami does to adjust. I mean, you would think they would have already adjusted that for last week against a shitty team in Tennessee, but they didn't. So, I got New England.
All right, Cleveland at Washington. Cleveland's just a dog shit team. I think Deshaun needs to go to jail for theft. Give me Washington. They are on a roll. Daniels looks comfortable, and that offense is just clicking right now.
Yeah, I mean, same thing again. Cleveland underwhelming. I guess shout out Nick Chubb. He's finally practicing again, earlier than a lot of people predicted. So I'm hoping to see him produce just at least for fantasy for me. Because I drafted him in just about every fucking league late in the rounds. But shout out Washington, man. They just been looking hot, and I'm just not gonna bet against Jaden Daniels looking the way he's looking. So
Until you prove me wrong, right?
yes,
Indy
sir.
at Jacksonville. Look, I know Indy's playing sloppy ball, and I don't know what's up with AR right now. But Jacksonville is just playing really sloppy ball, and I think the sloppier team loses, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know we do struggle with Jacksonville for some god awful reason.
Divisions.
Um, but if Daddy Joe's under center, we can get some magic out of him again. I gotta refrain on this one.
Yeah, either way, Joe or Anthony Richardson, I got y'all winning. Jacksonville's defense in the first like 3 weeks was like really bad, and I think last week, from what I saw, it seemed like they tried to adjust like kind of drastically, schematically. So it's like, how quickly can you actually get comfortable in a change like that? But regardless, Indy's been looking good. Shout out Josh Downs. Josh Downs is turning into that dude. Well, he's been back the last 2 weeks. Definitely heavily targeted. He converted a lot of clutch plays. Him and Alec Pierce, man. And then you got Adonai Mitchell, who's still waiting to break out and show off. But yeah,
Yeah, Michael
I
Pittman's
like
starting to
the
get some more targets too. I mean, that was a big issue the first couple of weeks. They just weren't looking his way. Now they are, and he's doing Michael Pittman things.
hell yeah, hell yeah,
All
hell
right,
yeah.
then
So
we
Indy.
got Buffalo at Houston. Give me Buffalo all day on this one. Houston, I think they for some reason they stall out for some reason, and I think after a terrible performance on a primetime game, I think Buffalo comes back strong.
Yeah, same thought. Buffalo should be a championship contending team, and when you are that, you need a bounce back from games like this, and that's probably what they're going to do. Kind of like Houston the week before, and I mean they did what they had to do to win. And I remember saying that an elite quarterback and an elite offense like that, you can't stink it up twice in a row. Probably the funnest matchup, at least for the 1 o'clock games, from what I'm looking at, man. That's going
Yeah,
to be a fun game to
absolutely.
watch.
All right, we got Vegas at Denver. Denver's been playing decent ball the last couple of weeks. I know that they really didn't produce much against the Jets, but Jets, believe it or not, they do have a decent defense, and it was wet. It's hard to do anything when it's that terrible weather. And again, their Denver's defense is awesome too, and I just don't think that Minshew Magic is gonna pull through.
Yeah, Denver's defense, once again, like I keep saying, their DBs are the group is really good. Vegas is, I'm sure, not going to have Devontae Adams this week, right? I mean, obviously, right? So you got Jacoby Myers as your receiver one. Yeah, I don't know, man. It is a division matchup, so like once again, those things get ugly and anything happens. But I'm super confident in Denver winning this game.
There we go. Arizona at San Francisco. I may have clicked the wrong box, but this looks like one of our only differences this week.
It
So
could happen. It's
I'm,
divisional
I'm
again.
gonna leave it.
Okay.
Again, to your point, it's a division game. They got embarrassed by Washington. I know that they can do things if on that offense. So because it is our only difference tiebreaker, I'm gonna leave it as is. I don't have a lot more to comment other than I hope someone on San Francisco gets hurt.
All right, let me switch then. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke. Yeah, I got San Fran. Arizona's DBs were getting lit up against Washington. I mean, not trying to say Washington's offense is bad. You got Terry out here balling out 2 weeks in a row. But with San Fran's offense and now healthy Debo, Jordan Mason, Jordan Mason balling out. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in San Fran winning.
I'm pretty
Arizona's a good
confident
defense.
in San Fran too, but again, for the sake of breaking the tie and
Fair.
not tying up this week, I'm gonna just run with it just because It's either that or I'm taking Carolina, which I'm never gonna take Carolina. So
Yeah, that game is up in the air. Yeah. I mean, one game disparity. It's fair. I see.
right.
Yeah, we are the exact same. Other than that, so
Green Bay at L.A. Rams. Give me Green Bay. L.A.'s too beat up right now, and you know they lost last week, but division game, and they can still put up some points.
yeah. I mean, I guess I overlooked how quickly Jordan Love was recovering. That man was out there. I mean, I guess you could say he looked in full form. So Green Bay over a beat up LA Rams. I'll take that any day.
All right, now and we got the Giants at Seattle. Again, Seattle's playing good ball. They just got outballed last week,
Yeah.
plain and simple. I think Gino led for passing that game. Kenneth
Have to.
Walker led for rushing, and then DK led for passing. I mean, and they still lost the game. So that just means that their defense didn't step up.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Seattle. I think they're definitely a better team than the Giants.
Hell yeah. Same. Seattle's DBs, great young group as well. They got out physicaled last week against Detroit, and I feel like they're more on the physical end of a group of DBs. So I could see them out there, just headhunting, just out there looking like they're smacking shit. So I got Seattle, probably Washington, New York. I'll
All right.
pretty heavy on Seattle in that one.
Then we got Dallas at Pittsburgh. To your point earlier, Pittsburgh's still a top tier team. They've got an awesome defense. They had a few injuries last week when they lost to Indy. I think they're going to reevaluate their play calling, make sure that they get a little more production early. And this is about the part of the season where we really find out that Dallas is a fraud ass team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I can't see. I could definitely see Dallas lighting it up. But if any defense can hold them, as far as getting into Dak's face, and got Minka up top, and I don't see Pittsburgh letting up too many points. Like maybe like 24 points, something like that. But if Fields just doesn't play like ass, and they play Dallas, which has been playing so inconsistent ball, we both got Pitt for a reason. That should be a fun Sunday night, right?
It should be a fun Sunday night, and hey, we could be wrong because primetime games, anybody, it could go either way. So,
Exactly.
and Dallas plays a lot of primetime games. But
Yeah.
thank God we've got one Monday night game. We got New Orleans at Kansas City. Look, I think New Orleans is still a solid team, but Kansas City is my number two, and they are winning games. And I've said it 100 times. Until you prove me wrong, I'm gonna ride that train.
Yeah, I mean, first 3 weeks, New Orleans offense was lights out. No question that they could do that again against the Chiefs defense. Chiefs defense is good, very overlooked because of Pat Mahomes and their production offensively usually. But I could see New Orleans putting up a lot of points, and KC for some reason not being able to put it together. But it's Kansas City, dude. It's not. I mean, if you want to
Kansas City primetime too.
yeah,
Remember that.
I'm not betting against that, dude. So Kansas City over New Orleans. What do you have? 51 points scored.
51. You have 43.
Yeah, I should have picked something higher, but
I just figured they're two very high scoring teams. So
yeah, my thought immediately was just like Chiefs are gonna have it's gonna be like 27 to 16. Yeah, that's
well,
what
I mean, there's no tiebreaker at this point anyway. I mean,
oh yeah, whatever. It's just for fun. But yeah, there you go. We only got a 1 game difference, Arizona and San Fran. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure you
Yeah,
will get
that
some
was
other
an accident too. So
whatever.
I don't care. I can be down one game with 13 weeks left in the season.
I have to work on my fist
We'll
strength.
just you'll just have like this ahead of me, just a little tip of the pinky,
Yeah,
not the
a
whole.
little just turtling, backwards turtling.
Hey, but we're starting to run a little bit over, but I think we wanted to get into our parlays, right?
Hell
Let's
yeah.
let's make some fucking money tonight, boys.
For the
And
first
and
time.
ladies, whoever's watching. I just don't feel like we have too many female followers.
A lot of bad bitches watching this right now, dude. Lots of bad bitches.
It's just me. I'm just watching streaming from my phone.
I watch it sometimes. But yeah, man. We got this more locked in than we had before. We're already prepared, right? We know
Yeah,
what you got 2 legs, I got 2 legs.
Let's get into it. Are you already in on the app?
FanDuel? I can while you
I
talk.
didn't know if you had taken a look at the odds already, but hey,
I
I'm going to
did.
start it off. I got Godwin alternate receptions over 6, and a Godwin tutty. I think there's been a lot of focus on Mike Evans lately, and Godwin in the slot has just been deadly, and I think that's going to be the same case tonight. Um, yeah, so those are my two.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Godwin is like, as of like 2 weeks ago, I'm probably still up there at least. He's one of like the most targeted in the slot. He gets quick, intermediate, deep. He gets looked at all the way. So I mean, obviously Mike Evans is their guy, but Chris Godwin is all over the field for him. So I do like that a lot. And then for my two legs to add to that, I got Baker Mayfield over rushing, which is at 9.5 yards. Baker Mayfield last year, he's always done this. I've always said it. That man runs with the rock. He's smart with it, but he runs as if he's like he thinks he's faster than he really is. You know what I mean? But regardless, you're telling me he can't get 10 yards. I just watched a highlight take this morning on Twitter of him running the ball this season. He's productive. I
Look,
got him at 9.5 rushing.
if he feels a little bit of pressure and there's the slightest opening, the man's taking off. No. Oh no. Did we lose him? Did we lose him? I think we lost you, buddy.
Dude, I didn't. The charger wasn't on. It just died. So, do you have put me on speaker right now?
You're on speaker. You're on speaker right next to the mic, buddy.
All right, all right. My laptop died.
What a technical difficulty. All right, man. What's you see you have a Baker over 9.5 yards.
And then I got my dog Ray McLeod of the Atlanta Falcons over 3.5 receptions. That man is sneaky. He's a sneaky weapon for Atlanta, and he gets like 7, 8 targets a game. I like Ray McLeod at over 3.5 receptions.
All right. What are the odds? And
I'm at plus 914 right now. So, let's say we got a $25 no sweat parlay. That's for 228, baby.
all right, let's lock it in, baby. We're gonna make some money tonight.
All right. Well, I wish I was visually seen right here for the outro.
I had your
Just
contact
envision me.
picture up.
I'm staring at the screen right now with my hands up, deucing it up like I usually do. Pound a walk.
Hurrah! Goodbye. Pound the walk, baby. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.